So did you have any stories that you wanted to share right off the bat?
Gosh, stories that I wanted to share. That's interesting. Like what kind of stories?
Any kind of stories.
Any kind?
Yeah. And if you want, I could ask a couple questions, maybe get some ideas in your
That's
head.
probably going to be helpful.
Cool. Who has been the most important person in your life?
I think at this point of my life, because we've answered this question differently at different times, would be my daughter. Well, first of all, I adopted her. My husband and I adopted her when she was 6 months old. And she's always been an old soul. She has a level of intuitiveness that I've just rarely seen in a lot of people. So I really appreciate her insight into the rest of the world. It's very different from mine.
What made you and your husband decide to adopt?
What made us decide to adopt? I wasn't getting pregnant, and I really didn't feel the compulsion to go to extraordinary means. So my husband came home one day with a pamphlet about international adoption, and at first it seemed like a big mystery to me, but I think at some point we thought, why not? So we, found I really thought you could just say, okay, I'll take whatever child needs a home, but it didn't work out that way. You have to pick a country, and then you have to go through a lot of rigmarole, and then finally, I think it took us about 6 months before we got a referral, and then another 6 months before we were able to travel and pick her up.
So it took a while.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Cool.
It was an agonizing wait for the end.
But it was worth it.
Oh, it was. Yeah. She, as I said, she's pretty incredible. She was born in Guatemala, and for me, it was just a spot on the map. Vague recollections through my history major about some Central American issues and American intervention, and some pretty incredible poetry coming out of Central America, but nothing prepared me for the poverty, and I think I won't speak for everyone going into adoption, but I really thought that when somebody decided to surrender their child, that it was a sort of a decision grounded in common sense. I mean, it just never occurred to me that poverty would be a reason to give up your child. I mean, we don't see anything close to the level of poverty. And so since then, I really feel as though no woman should have to give up her child because she can't afford to feed them.
Who's been the biggest influence on your life?
We could make this a story about my daughter, because she clearly has been the biggest influence. Yeah, I mean, I think pre-parenting, I lived this kind of narcissistic life and traveled and didn't think much about the future. And when they put this 6-month-old baby in my arms, who actually knew more about being a baby than I knew about taking care of children, so it was a rough start. She has brown skin, so the world approaches her differently than it approaches me with white skin. So navigating that really was life-changing. So at some point, my husband and I decided that we couldn't live in Asheville because the stress of her being a minority was too great. So we left and moved to the Virgin Islands, where she really became among many minorities. I mean, I don't probably African Caribbean is the majority, but so Hispanic and white, and certainly Middle Eastern, a lot of very visible minorities. But it was really, again, that was another life-changing experience to be there with her. We never sold our house, but every step of the way has been a decision really informed by where is it going to be best for her to be at school, or where is it going to be best for her to live. And we felt by middle school that we could come back here and she would feel grounded enough in terms of her self-identity to attend a predominantly white school. I will tell you I was wrong about that, though. I thought that, but I was wrong. I think in hindsight, we probably would have been better off picking a school with, that wasn't predominantly white.
So it was a hard transition?
It was. I mean, it's fine now. She's a junior in high school, and she's, got friends and loves her school. But initially, it was a bit of a transition.